Good morning. How are we doing? So, question I had 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I always forget days. Are machines better than free weights? What equipment do we use at Frucci Fit? And also, do you feel that machines are better than like free weights and weights? Just because resistance bands and body weight. This is how the conversation went, because I see all these machines everywhere. I go into a gym now and it's like littered with new machines. Some that count your reps, some that count your tempo, some that you need to scan an app to do. And she was just like, I'm just overwhelmed and confused. Is this better than this? Should I be doing it? What should someone my age do? About 50s, by the way, if you're just looking for some context. So I thought I'd jump on and just give my 2 pence on this. In terms of free weights versus resistance bands versus body weight. Hey Teresa, good morning. How are we doing? So, point one, they both are tools in the toolbox. Now, free weights, let's look at the benefit. Free weights and body weight, the benefit of this is you're working multiple muscles in one move. So if you haven't got much time and you want to work as many muscles as possible within this, then body weight, free weights is going to be a good thing. You get all the stabilizer muscles in. We also learn how to do certain movements correctly and work our posture, our core in most of the moves, because we are the stabilizer, okay? And there's lots of benefits in this. On the flip side, machines are there to real isolate a muscle. And funnily enough, people sometimes feel more comfortable on machines. Interestingly, they're actually great for people like bodybuilders, because you can really isolate a muscle without putting too much tension on certain joints or anything like that. But also you can really hammer a muscle without the stabilizer muscles fatiguing. So if you think of a bodybuilder who trains hours a day sometimes, they're going to need to really hit a lot of repetitions, a lot of work in a gym, in a session. So although sometimes people feel like, I just want to stick with the machines, then I want to stick with the machines a bit more. Actually, this might be counterproductive with this, and actually you're more isolating a muscle, especially if someone says, I don't want to work my chest too much or back too much. So there's pros and cons to both here. Now, if I was to look at it from a broader picture, most people want to get toned, most people want to get fit, most people want functional fitness, so like lifting, getting up and down from the floor. Most people that we speak to, that is, most people want to make those everyday tasks easier, that climbing the stairs and all those things. And actually from them, you don't really need any super fancy machines or anything like that. There are certain things that I would replicate perhaps with resistance bands, which bring that similar tension and also low impact work. And especially if you're thinking that machines are overwhelming or anything like that, then yeah, I actually agree with you to an extent. A lot of machines just take up a hell of a lot of room in a gym, in the space, and actually where we could actually focus more on the coaching side of things, of the key moves. And that's why the 4 key moves that we look at are a squat, knee friendly or not, a plank position, so we're really hitting the core, working on there. So in terms of lower part of the core, in terms of posture, shoulders, you can do this on the wall, floor, and we adapt you through this. A push-up, so again, can you start on the wall? Can you then come to the floor, or a chair, table, knees, tiptoes? There's so many variations on here where we're adjusting the weight, but we're also working our core at the same time. If you think about doing a push-up on the wall, your feet back, you're working the stomach muscles a bit more. And this is where it comes in, that coaching side, to make sure that you're doing it safely and effectively, make sure you're seeing that progress. Because actually then this translates to so many other things. Like I've had one of the ladies talk to me about how gardening this year is just like on form, and I was just like, oh, amazing. And I was like, I've got a little bit of a fib. What's the saying? Well, basically I've never really done any gardening ever. But this year I was like, I actually got quite into it. We got some plants and I was plotting away, and I was thinking, yes, I know what you mean about the back, the knee. I was like soiling like this, not even for that long. But it was good fun. I was like, wow, I'm in a right headspace here. Right, this is actually keeping me busy. Tangent here, of course, but keeping me busy. But at the same time, I'm relaxing. But I said, like all those deadlifts you're doing, even with light weights there, squeeze, all that plank work, strengthening your lower back. These are all helping with this. And then the last move is our squat hold. So we're holding a squat, knee friendly or not, with our back against the wall. And these are just 4 key moves that you can do anywhere, anytime, with actually no equipment. Obviously you can add weight. And the brilliant thing about that is the fewer obstacles there are in the way for you doing it, aka you need this big machine, the more likely you are to do it. And that goes for anything with this health and fitness stuff. The more complicated the meal plan, the less likely you are to do it. It might look great if you're, I'm going to make my own pasta on this day, I'm going to make my own cakes on this day, make my own bread on this day. It might look more real fancy, but whether we actually do it or not is the key thing to our success. And then people are really worried about ready meals and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, should I be eating that? And it's like, what's the alternative? A takeaway. There's some great ready meals now, and I'm going off on a tangent again. I'm just making this as practical as possible for you. Always go for that simple choice, because it's about moving from A to B here. So, I hope that helps. In summary, they both have pros and cons. You can replicate a lot of machines with like a resistance band, and tying it around stuff if it's pulling, coming out in. But generally, you don't really need any fancy machines or anything like that. And that's why we don't go down that route, if I'm honest. We have a few things that we bring in and out as needed. But keep it simple. Like I said, with those 4 moves, it doesn't actually need to go too much further than that. And then we make sure that we're keeping it nice and varied to make sure you're getting the results you want with this. And then ultimately, it's about progress from there, because then we can look at those 4 moves and progress with that. So any questions on that, do let me know. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.